hit that like and follow. Take this deep dive with us as we dissect emotional abuse. Let's talk emotional abuse. Let's talk what it looks like, what it sounds like. Because, y'all, I see so many clients who didn't even know that for years they were victims of emotional abuse. Have you been taken aback by a photo of you because you didn't recognize the person in that photo? Does your life look very different than what your life is? You know, J.P. Miller keeps saying, Micah never had to clean or cook a meal. She had everything she ever wanted. Why would somebody say she was being abused? Well, this is why. Because you can look like you have an amazing life, and all of those things can be true. You don't have to cook. You don't have to clean. You don't have to worry about finances. You drive a nice car. You live in a nice home. You look like you have a great life. But behind closed doors, what is actually taking place is appalling. Abusers want to intentionally frighten, terrorize, humiliate, injure, belittle, manipulate, wound, or injure their victims. Any kind of abuse is sometimes hard to identify, but emotional abuse can be one of the most confusing. Everything seems fine, but everything is not fine. Abuse can come in many forms, and it exists between many different relationship dynamics. It can be a parent and a child. It can be a sibling. It can be a colleague or coworker. It can be a friend. It can be a neighbor, a pastor. It can be anyone. It can be a man or a woman. Abusers do not discriminate based on anything. There is zero discrimination when it comes to abuse. The rich, the poor, educated, not educated, it doesn't matter. The pattern of abuse is the same across the board. The pattern doesn't change. I didn't have role models that were good role models or even involved people when I was growing up. So when I found myself in my second abusive relationship, and this time I was married and pregnant, and asking the new internet, because in 2000 the internet was new, and I was searching anywhere, high and low, for answers as to what was happening to me. Why was my partner behaving this way? What was I doing wrong? I had no discernment as to what a healthy relationship looked like. So I looked anywhere and everywhere for a good example. I felt attacked and criticized. I felt unwelcome, very unwelcome into this new family. My in-laws did not hide that they did not approve of my marriage. My family did not approve of my marriage. My husband used that to his advantage. He used my weakened state of mind, my naivety, against me. I was the perfect prey for him. I had suffered an abusive childhood. I had been sold to a man for rugs. I'd been traumatized, and he was my knight in shining armor. I was incredibly vulnerable, and he took advantage. It allowed him to tell me I was overreacting when something bothered me or hurt me. It gave him the ability to make me question everything. If something hurt me, he would say I was overreacting. Then he would begin to purposely trigger me in front of his friends and family to get my reaction. That's reactive abuse, which is a terrible term. We need to find another word for it, but that's what it is. That is reactive abuse. So how do you discern between abuse and love? That's where we're going to start. The moment you start questioning if you deserve better, the answer is yes. It's already yes. The second the thought pops into your head, do I deserve better than this? Yes. Yes, you do. 100%. Yes. Abusers often show traits of narcissism, but they don't necessarily have narcissistic personality disorder. However, equally, most who have narcissistic personality disorder are abusers. They have a high need of control. They have zero empathy. And you have all kinds of empathy. The hidden nature of emotional abuse is what makes it so dangerous. It's what makes it so hard to determine if that's what's happening. Emotional abuse is any behavior that intentionally degrades or humiliates someone. Emotional abusers are going to attack a person's, their values and their personhood, who they are, what their morals and beliefs are. An abuser is going to demand an immediate response from you. They get angry and upset if you're unavailable, even if it's a work meeting or a doctor's appointment. If they call, you better answer. They stalk your whereabouts. They have to know where you are at all times. Constant criticism and belittling. Your weight, your intelligence, your abilities, your appearance, anything they can. And if you have an insecurity, best believe if they know about it, they will try to hurt you with it. You'll get mixed messages. Their words will say they love you, but their actions say they can't stand to be in the same room as you. They'll tell you your weight is too much and then try to feed you cake and ice cream and pudding and cookies. If you are afraid of this person, especially when they're angry, you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, or you have to let things go. Otherwise, you don't know what will happen if you bring up your concern about your feelings again. That's scary and you don't want to do that. That's abuse. Gaslighting is a whole video in and of itself.